Welcome to Theology on Tap. A couple of years ago, an article came out that said that over 90% of the millennials are not going to church. And at that time, what I said was that it was good that the millennials are not going to church. And I didn't really blame them for not going to church. I mean, if you really think about it, the child abuse that was going on at the church, the hypocrisy of the preachers saying, the homosexuality to abortions to all these issues that we preached against, but at the same time, we're practicing those same things, right? And at the time, I thought it's good that millennials are leaving the church because the church could really look within ourselves and fix these problems and to learn to package the word of Jesus Christ in a way that could be more applicable to young people. That we could just focus on Jesus and Him crucified rather than trying to come up with a great package of theologies that are out there. We really emphasize a lot on praise songs and programs and things like that, but we just, I think, in my opinion, forgot the people. Just everyday individuals. They really needed the word of Jesus Christ to bring a lot of comfort. And I think it's something that we should do more as Christians, is to focus on Jesus and Him crucified. So at the time, I say it was good that the millennials are leaving the church. But the problem is when you leave the church, when you lose the passion and the meaning of life in Christ, passion for life in Jesus Christ, then you're going to find it in other things, definitely. And what they have found, what the millennials have found, passions in life, has brought a lot of harm to our society. They put their faith into politics. They got really involved and they got really emotional about it. Right? A lot of screaming and yelling and hating. We got involved with calling people racist, picking sides. When it comes to the gender differences, misogyny, things like that, right? Education. We focus so much on all these things, making money to traveling, a lot of things in the world that you could put your faith in to find passion in life in. And millennials have went out and gone for those things, which is totally fine, I think. But the problem is, once you leave the passion of Christ and find passion in other things, I think it would bring a lot more harm to our society. And what we have today is just that. We do live in a very divided world. There's a lot of hatred. There's a lot of misunderstanding. Right? And I think mostly because we have placed our faith in the things that does not do good for us, but actually do more harm for us. Right? Bring a lot of misery and emptiness. And it's about time the millennials to look within themselves and find passion in Jesus Christ. So I'm going to make a series of videos called The Preacher's Advice or Message to the Millennials. Right? Listen to this. I was reading an article the other day, and it said this. And today, a lot of young people, there was a survey done, Americans between the ages of 18 and 34, which are the millennials. It said that 51% of them, people between the ages of 18 and 34, 51% of them said they do not have a steady romantic partner. Steady romantic partner. Meaning that you have put so much of your passion in things that doesn't do good for us as a society, that you have left the love between a man and a woman. All right? You left it. Over 50% of people are not in a romantic partner, which I thought was kind of strange because I thought, what I used to tell my kids is that man, I wish I was young today, right? Because back in the 70s and 80s, it was very difficult to get a date. Like you really had to ask for their number. You have to walk up to people that you barely know, get to talk to them, have them to like you. The first impression, you practice it, things like that. Right? But today you got computers. You got OkCupid, Coffee Meets Bagel. I never heard of these. Hinge, Tinder I heard of. Bumble, Match.com. There's so many ways that we could meet people. And yet over half of the people between the ages of 18 and 34 are not dating. They're not in a romantic relationship. that alarms me. You're probably missing out on the most beautiful thing about living, in my opinion, right? Because if you're not dating, you're not going to get married. So we have a society, the millennials, because they left their faith in Jesus Christ and they have found faith in all these nonsense things, right? Gender pay gaps to, what is it? Climate change. I'm sorry, global warming, hating on Trump, getting involved with politics and getting involved with education, gender studies, race problems in America. We have put so much faith in those kind of things that actually brings about more sadness, grievance, hatred, anger. All those things are within the young people today, millennials. It's in you. We got to get rid of that, right? Because we are focusing on things that brings more misery. And I think one way to do that is to go back into dating, I think. And number one reason they say that they're not dating at this time is because they haven't found the right person, which is kind of strange. I mean, who is the right person anyway? How do you know is the right person? I was taught growing up that in order to find the right person to get married and to basically is to be the right person. So if you're the right person, then you're going to attract the right person. And what is a better way to be the right person than to have a heart for God, heart for life, right? For family, to raise children. I mean, only way that we could really make the world a much better place to live is to be in love with a spouse, one spouse, to raise a healthy family the best we can, spread a lot of love within the family to make sure that your children will do good in this world. That's the only way that we could actually make the world a better place. That's my opinion anyways. But the preacher says in book of Ecclesiastes, right? Because the Ecclesiastes was written by a preacher, all right? The preacher says that we should be married to one person, one spouse for the rest of our lives. Just one. And I know a lot of people think that's kind of boring and stuff, but we only think that because we have placed our faith in, our passion into things that does no good whatsoever. We actually end up living a lie, as we have seen in recent days. Right? We need to fall in love. You know what the preacher says in Ecclesiastes to millennials who are not married at this time? He says, rejoice, young people, rejoice in your youth, and it shall be well with you. Walk in the ways of your heart and the sight of your eyes, right? Do those things. Now, I know a lot of millennials will say, oh, I am definitely walking the ways of my heart and in the sight of my eyes. But what the preacher says here, he says, but know that for all these things, the Lord will bring you into judgment. Meaning the decisions that you make, whatever is in your heart and whatever you go after, the things that you see, that if it is not in the path of righteousness, then God will definitely judge. And judge doesn't mean heaven or hell. Judgment means the result is going to be misery. It's going to be hellish on earth. And that's what we have today. And the reason why we have that today is because we left the faith. Now, I'm not saying I blame the millennials for leaving the church, because church made a lot of mistakes, but you should never leave the faith. Listen to the preacher. He says, rejoice. I mean, do you really see a lot of young people rejoicing these days? Right? Outside of the church, out of somebody who believes in God? I don't know. There's a lot of parties and stuff like that, but that's over within a few hours. Rejoice in the Lord. Right? I know it says rejoice, young people, in your youth, but in Proverbs, Solomon says that you should rejoice in the spouse of your youth, meaning people who get married early, right? I'm a total believer of that. Grow old together. I have not just romantic, there's something beautiful about that is missing in today's society. And since it is missing, it's bringing about a lot of things that is not good. Listen to what the preacher says, right? Then the preacher says in chapter 4, listen to this. It says, when there is but one man, but not a second, and he has neither son nor brother, there is no end to all his labor. Neither are his eyes satisfied with riches, neither does he say, for whom am I laboring and denying myself good things? Meaning that if you don't get married and have children and raise good children and stuff, then there is no satisfaction in your life. That's what the preacher says. Right? This is what he saw in life. I know it was written 2,600 years ago or something like that, but human beings don't change. We're the same today as it was yesterday, and we'll be the same in the tomorrow. Right? You will never be satisfied. Your eyes will not be satisfied with riches, and all your laboring and denying yourself of good things. You're denying yourself of good things. So everything else you do in life, whatever you're fighting for, whatever cause that you're fighting for, global warming, equal pay, to all these other things, right, are not good things. You're investing in things that is vanity, meaning meaningless, and is grievous vexation of your spirit. That's what the preacher says. And you should listen to that. This is a message to the millennials today. Enjoy your life. Go after your heart, right? Follow the eyes of what you see. But do those things when you have a relationship with Jesus Christ, so that you could be in the path of righteousness, so that you could get some satisfaction, knowing that your work, right, is not being wasted. That you could eat, drink, and be proud of the work, right? Proud of the good that your work is bringing. Because a lot of the other stuff that we're putting all our energy into does not bring any kind of satisfaction. Because not many people seem to be very satisfied today. You could have that in faith. Walk in the path of righteousness. And one way to do that, as the preacher says, is to fall in love. Go in a relationship. Right? It's easier today, I think, because you have the computers and everything else. Right? I would think it would be easier. I mean, if not, then do it the old-fashioned way. Go to the supermarket and, talk to somebody. Get their phone number and go on a date and get married. Have children. Spread love around within the people that you have control over, which is your family. Outside of that, you don't have much control. Right? We need to change the statistics around. Listen to the preacher, his message to the millennials today. Fall in love, enjoy your life, get married, have children, because that's where the satisfaction is. Listen to him. All right? That's the first message of the a preacher to the millennials. Love and marriage is an awesome thing. And I'll pick another subject tomorrow. Preacher's message to the millennials. God bless you. Find faith in Christ. And I'll see you next time.